Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to film this video to give you guys a bit of an insight into what it's like being a professional ballet dancer during this pandemic. I actually started my first ballet company during COVID. I actually haven't had the experience of what it's like without the virus. To start, I'm going to give you a little bit of an idea of how it's all sort of panned out for me. As I say, I joined the company, it was just after the first lockdown ended in August. It was all very uncertain from the very beginning. We wasn't 100% sure that we would start on the 1st of September. We did end up starting on the 1st of September, which was great. Once we started, we danced all through September, October, and then beginning of November was when we had to shut. We went on lockdown. It was pretty crazy because we was rehearsing for Don Quixote and the show was literally in a few days. We went to work one day and it was all fine, and then the next day we wasn't able to come in and we was just going on lockdown. That was a shock. I wasn't expecting it at all. We had to stay at home. First it was for 2 weeks and then it just got extended and extended and extended. I live in an apartment. It's quite a big apartment, but it was still difficult to continue doing class in here. Our floor is quite slippy, so it was really difficult for me to do point work. I had to be really careful. I tried to focus on some new things, like I started yoga, which was really good for me. If you haven't tried, I really recommend. That went on until November, December, and then I went home for Christmas. Again, I literally had no idea whether I could go home or not because it was just all so uncertain, like no one really knew. Then we was told that we could go home for Christmas, and so I went home. We didn't really know when we could come back to start working again, but by this point the virus had gone down quite a bit, so it was looking quite promising. We did end up starting at the beginning of January, and of course when I came back I had to quarantine, so it was another 2 weeks completely in here. Before, with the lockdown, we could go outside and we could go for a walk and stuff like that, and actually we could still use the gym, which was really helpful. But obviously during the quarantine we just had to completely stay here, which was really tough, especially as dancers who usually want to go out and go for a walk. Then from January, February up until today, we have been working, which I'm super grateful for. It's been a really great couple of months. We've managed to do 3 shows. We've been working really hard these past couple of weeks for Don Quixote again. Just as things were all sort of falling into place, the virus has sort of started to go back up again, especially in the area which we're in. So we just found out yesterday that the theatres and the restaurants have to close. Our performance was meant to be on Saturday. It is Thursday today. That can no longer happen, but this time we are luckily able to still go into the studio and rehearse. On Saturday we are going to still perform the show, and it's going to be filmed and it's going to be live streamed, which is really cool. I'm just really happy that we still get to do the show on stage, because before I came they were rehearsing Don Quixote and after that it closed, and then again in November we were rehearsing the same, and then we had to lock down just a couple of days before the show. And then this time again, this is the ballet we're rehearsing, and the theatres had to close, but luckily this time we can film it, which is really great. And I'm just really happy that for the next 2 weeks we can continue to take class and we can rehearse for the next ballet. As you can see, it's been like really up and down. It's just been one of these things where you just don't know what's gonna happen next week. Really, the cases could get really bad all of a sudden, and then we have to stop, or you know, it could get really good and things are sort of getting really back to normal. It really has just been crazy couple of months, but yeah, I think things overall are getting a lot better now. For dancers, it has been a difficult time. I know back at home in the UK, theatres have been shut for a very long time, and I just know how hard that is. I saw online that the Royal Opera House is opening in May. That's really exciting. When everything is back to normal, it is gonna feel so good. It's just gonna be so exciting. In terms of when we've been at work, there's been like strict rules that we need to keep to help prevent the spread. We've had to be really careful when we go out into the public because it just takes one person to catch it. And because as dancers we are all in a studio together, it would be easy to spread it. So we've all had to be careful wearing the mask everywhere, outside, everywhere, keeping our distance. Also, something that has been strange, the audience at the theatre is only 25%, so most of the seats are like taped up. Although the past few audiences, they've been really quite like loud, and when they're clapping, it still doesn't feel quite right. When you look out, there's like so many like empty seats and it feels a bit weird. So yeah, I think that's a feeling that I'm looking forward to, is when we can like look out and there's like a full-on audience. I think that will be really exciting to see. I think the main struggle for dancers during this time has just been the fact that it's just so uncertain. Like we really just don't know in advance what's gonna happen. I think one of the main struggles has been, obviously, when we had to stop, is continuing our class at home and just keeping up our exercises. Also, if we've been rehearsing for a long period of time and then there's gonna be a show in a couple of days and then we had to stop, I think that's also really difficult. You go from working so hard to doing nothing, and yeah, it is hard. I'm just so grateful that I'm able to continue being in a studio at the minute. Just know that in time we will be back to doing everything that we used to do in the UK. I know now they're starting to open schools and things like that, so that's really great. You'll be getting back into the studio. I remember after the lockdown in November and when I came back in January, so I had like a couple of months off. When I first came back into class, it felt so good to do it in the studio. I think that feeling, I think it was just so worth it. Yeah, so really do just keep going. And I also think the best thing to do is, if you happen to have to stop again, then I just think just try not to worry and freak out. I know it's easier said than done, but when you start back, give it a couple of weeks and you'll just feel back to normal. The first week is difficult, but you'll get through it. In a few years' time, we're gonna look back at this crazy time and think, wow, like we got through a pandemic. Yeah, I think just to be proud of yourself for all what you're doing. Yeah, it is a hard time, but things will be all getting back to normal. I really hope this has given you a bit of an insight into what it's like. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next one very soon.